If you're a service-based business that has employees in admin and paperwork related positions, this video is for you. So my name is Kenneth Chiba. I'm an AI consultant running a company called Mirai AI. This video is intended to be a case study showing what I can do in more depth than I can cover in a cold DM or cold email. So one of the companies that I've done work for is actually a charter bus company. So they had a process that they needed an employee to turn contracts that look kind of like this into an actual work order, right? That looks like this. And then they also had a similar process that required basically a huge list of contracts they got from schools that bulk ordered buses into these original contracts. And as you might imagine, this took quite a lot of time per month, adding up to as much as like 40 hours per month for their employees during their busiest months. So what I ended up doing is I created an automated system that allowed them to basically just email themselves to trigger it, right? So they didn't need to add any, create any logins, download any apps, nothing, right? They just basically took what they were already doing and they just emailed themselves the actual contract. So now what ended up happening is this automated system, which I was using N8N. You may have heard of the platform if you looked into AI solutions before. If not, it's basically just an online platform that you can plug in different pieces of software and have them communicate with each other to get an end result done. So what we ended up doing was we took that PDF, right, and then we converted it to text. You may have noticed this if you've ever used ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini or whatever, but it actually can't read PDFs by itself. It needs to be converted to text first. That's the reason it got converted. Then ChatGPT, right, basically AI, converted that text into independent variables into the specific form fields that needed to be filled out. So what does that mean? So the original actual method that these contracts are stored in are actually in Google Sheets, right? So I've also obviously changed some of these fields to privacy for the business and the clients and whatever. But basically how it works now is because each of these fields can actually be filled in uh, using N8N, what we ended up doing was we could duplicate this actual form and then fill it in after, right? And AI, we can tell AI that this specific reserved by field, for example, is the same reserved by field in this work order, right? And so when we come back here, what we ended up doing is we had AI analyze that text that was originally the contract and then have a Google Sheets process that duplicates the master contract or the master work order and then fills it in afterwards. So this resulted in a 40% increase in top line revenue year to date as of 2025. This is August. So basically from January to July, 40% increase in revenue just because of the increase in bandwidth. And it completely shifted their bottleneck from how many contracts the actual office staff can churn out to basically being, how can we fill the supply with bus drivers and them having to source more bus drivers.